Okay, the last thing I wanted to tell you about, which is not quite as important, so I saved it for last, but it's the mouth anatomy. And this will kind of explain why you want the nipple where you want it. So you really want a really nice deep latch because of the way that the baby's mouth is made. Now his mouth is really small, but it's kind of a copy of our mouths. So I'm going to have you feel in your own mouth to understand. I'm sorry for the camera moving all around. I'm using my phone and okay. So first you've got your lip, and the baby's going to have gums, not teeth, but gums. And behind where your teeth are, or where the baby's gums are, you'll have immediately what's called the hard palate. And you can feel with your tongue that there are ridges along the hard palate, and it's close to your tongue. It's down low, close to your tongue, and it's very hard. You can feel with your tongue. It's that area right before your teeth. If you go back further in your mouth with your tongue, you can feel that here's the hard palate. You can feel that the mouth opens up a little bit. You've got more space. So back farther, that's the soft palate. It's up higher away from the tongue. It's soft and it's smooth. So that's a big thing. The fact that there's no ridges on the soft palate is really important. If you think of ridges as kind of like gravel on the street, if you rub your, if you're, let's say you're sliding on your knees. If you're sliding on your knees on a hard floor, like a wooden floor, like in a house, or like on linoleum, it's smooth and it doesn't really cause a lot of friction. It doesn't scrape your knees up. But if you can imagine doing that same thing on the concrete or on a street where there's asphalt and there's lots of ridges and different textures, that's going to cause scrapes and cuts on your knees. That's basically what will happen to your nipples if you continue to have a baby sucking your nipple along the hard palate where there's all those ridges. It causes a lot of friction, and it can cause your nipples to wear down, and they say crack. It's more like getting a rug burn or something. It just wears the skin away from the top of your nipple. You don't want that. That's very painful. So you want to try and get a deep latch to get the nipple back all the way to the soft palate. Remember I said to face the nipple up? And that's so that you've got the nipple off of the tongue and in that nice space there. Because the tongue also kind of moves as the baby sucks. And you don't want it to rub along the tip of your nipple. It can be on the bottom of the nipple, but the tip of the nipple is really sensitive, and you don't want the tongue rubbing against that. There's another reason why you want that nipple facing up. And that's because when the milk comes out, it can actually, especially once your milk comes in, it can actually squirt back pretty powerfully. And if it's angled right down towards the baby's throat, it can go right in their throat, and it can be kind of scary and a little bit too much, you know. And the baby, the reaction is either to unlatch, which is awful because you have to latch him back on, or he'll let his latch slip and get a shallow latch to prevent that milk from shooting down his throat. And you don't want a shallow latch because then your nipple's against the hard palate. So you want it angled up so that first the nipple or the milk shoots out and hits the soft palate and then goes down the baby's throat instead of shooting directly down the baby's throat. So that's one of the reasons why you want to angle that nipple up towards the soft palate. If you have the nipple along the hard palate, not only will it have that friction, but it'll also get squished because, like I said, the hard palate is very low down, close to the tongue, and there's not a lot of space there. And since it's so hard, it's easy for your nipple to just get squashed like a pancake. And when it's getting squashed like a pancake and then getting rubbed against the hard palate, it's like a recipe for disaster. So when you unlatch, you should be able to look at your nipple and go, okay, that kind of resembles a normal nipple. It's a little bit longer, pulled out a little bit more, but it's round. It looks like a nipple. If it's squashed like a pancake, or if it looks like a tube of lipstick where the tip goes down to a point, he's not getting a deep enough latch. So you want to work on getting him a little bit farther onto the breast tissue. You might need to make your sandwich really, really, really tight to get as much in his mouth as you can. And what was I going to say? And you might, there's another reason. There's another thing. What was I going to say? So if it's really squished, you just want to push it. Oh, I know what I was going to say. So if it is doing that, you can try getting a deeper latch, make that tighter sandwich, get it in there more. And also you can try pulling his chin down. After he's latched on, pull his chin down a little bit and try and get him to kind of get a deeper latch. And you can tell if his latch has gotten deeper from that K, if it's a nice wide open K or if it's a skinny K. So you want to make sure you get that wide, wide, wide K with his mouth, the angle. Okay, so I think that's all. So good luck with that. If you have any questions at all, please call me if you want me to come over and I can actually show you by breastfeeding Bastian. I'm not shy. I don't care if you see my boobs or my nipples. I had Bastian on my bed 100% stark naked with all the midwife and everybody around. So I'm not shy about that. I know that it can sometimes make other people uncomfortable, so I don't want to, show you my boob if you don't want to see it. But if you need help and you need to be able to visually see it, let me know. I'm happy to come over and help show you, or even if you want me to just look at what you're doing and tell you if you can do something differently, I'm happy to do that. And if you have any questions, feel free to call me anytime. And also, I really highly recommend the website, kellymom.com, Kelly mom.com. I sent it to you on Facebook. If you just in your spare time, maybe while he's sleeping, while he's nursing, just scroll through there and just start reading up on lots of different topics. They have stuff about what you can drink while the baby's nursing. Can you have caffeine? How much caffeine can you have? How does that affect the baby? It's not a good idea to have a whole lot of caffeine in the beginning, but it'll tell you how long after you've had the caffeine it's out of your system and things like that. It tells you how much alcohol you can drink, all kinds of different things, what you can eat. The other thing is that when you get your milk in, if you don't have a lot of milk, there are a lot of different foods and beverages that are what are called galactagogues, which means that they cause your body to produce more milk. I had a problem with low supply, so I needed to consume a lot of galactagogues. And if you have that problem, I can give you lots of tips, but I'm going to assume you're not going to have that problem. So if you do, let me know. But you can find lots of information about all that stuff on kellymom.com. And so just browse through there. If you're having any problems, just do a search on that website. I'm sure they'll have the answers for you. By following the tricks of that website, actually women who've adopted babies have been able to successfully produce milk and nurse their adopted babies. So if they can do it, you can do it. And, try to have a good attitude. You're doing awesome. Everything you're doing is fine and normal. And sometimes it's not your fault at all. Sometimes it's just the baby. I think Bastian, he just had a small mouth and he was a really frustrated, hungry eater. And I didn't have a lot of milk supply, so he was hungry all the time. And it caused him to be a desperate, and he just had a really tight latch. And it was just him, and it took time. And I think he just grew a little bit. So don't let it bother you too much. Just stick with it. Maximum, it'll be tough for 6 weeks. That's the worst case scenario. Most people, it might be a little challenging for the first couple weeks, and then it's fine. Think about that in respect to your entire lifetime. And let me just tell you, it's totally worth it. It's 6 weeks maximum. That's worst case scenario. For me, it was 6 weeks, but that's probably not going to happen. And then it's that 6 weeks sucked, but now I have so much time, and compared to the life, that's such a small amount of time. And now the bond that I've created with Bastian and all the good immunity and all the good things that he's gotten from my breast milk is just so worth it. So keep it up. You're doing awesome, and stay positive. I'm so proud of you. You're doing great, and good luck. And if you have any problems, just call me and let me know. Okay? Thanks. Good luck. Have fun.